Welcome back, YouTube. I'm MTG Joe, and today we're going to be rounding up our ranked Season 1, making the push to Diamond. Not quite Mythic, but we'll take what we can. We play a lot of jank on the stream, so it's a mix of competitive in that. So this is a Gruul midrange or Gruul Warriors list. So this is what actually helped me get from Gold to Diamond, or Platinum. Yeah, Platinum, sorry. And since then, I've been playing the Gates deck that will be up on the channel as well. Gates has been really well in this. But to give you a quick overview of the deck itself, we're playing more burn in our version than some of the other lists. Just a concession to early aggro, but also just as ways to have additional reach. So we're playing 4 shocks, 4 lightning strikes in our build. We play the lava coils out of the side. We're playing 4 Growth Chamber Guardians, which just basically serve as card advantage and provide a 4/4 body. 4 Kraul Harpooners, which has just been really good in this format. This deck really beats up on mono blue, any sort of Drake's deck, even Lyra's a lot of times, or other like Rekindling Phoenix. Our list is a little bit more low to the ground in aggro, so we're playing the Legion Warboss, just reoccurring creature value. And then we're playing Chainwhirler, which is just an overall really efficient creature. We're playing 4 Gruul Spellbreakers, so this can be a hasty 3/3 for 3, or for a 3 mana 4/4 with Trample. The Trample is quite relevant in a lot of matchups. Playing 3 Collision Colossus, so this either gets rid of a troublesome flyer or is a good way as a combat trick, especially with the first strike damage from Goblin Chainwhirler. We can usually win a lot of combats that way. And then we're playing 4 Rekindling Phoenix, just a really good threat. Really hard to get rid of if they don't have exile effects. 2 Skarrgan Hellkites. This is most of the time it's a 4/4 haster, but we do have the option, if we need to make it a 5/5 with the ride effect, and then we just can start shooting down. And then I've opted to have the 2 Viviens in the main. I like the card advantage she provides, plus it gives us some main deck answers to artifacts, enchantments, or flyers as well. So we are playing 3 Unclaimed Territories in this list. So if you look, the Growth Chamber Guardian, the Kraul Harpooner, the Gruul Spellbreaker, and then the Chainwhirler are all warriors. So this allows us to hit the three red mana fairly easy. And then on the sideboard, I'm trying a couple of variations. So I've been bouncing between this more mid-range and a more aggro version. I can post both lists in the comments below. So I have 1 Direfleet Daredevil, just good to stealing spells. I've actually used this against Drakes, just to exile stuff like Beacon Bolt out of the graveyard so they can't flash it back. 4 Lava Coils, just get rid of opponents' Rekindling Phoenix or just larger toughness creatures. 2 Cindervines versus more of the Spellslinger decks. 2 Cannonades, which is actually pretty efficient in our deck because we don't have really any. We don't have as much with 2 toughness. Most of our stuff gets pretty large, and this is more for like the token swarms or weenie style strategies. So I'm gonna try out now. I just added in 2 Nullhide Ferox. We tend to lose the Stompy variants, which I've been running into a bit more. And then just the amount of targeted removal, having Nullhide come down, it's a hard creature, at least it'll cost them an additional 2 mana to deal with. And in our deck, we're not playing too many non-creature spells. Might not be the best. You know what, I actually think I just want, against control, a Rhythm of the Wild. We'll try that one out. So we have 2 rhythms, because now that I actually look at it, we have the 8 burn spells, 11 in the main deck, and then most of the time we bring in more out of the side. So Rhythm will replace that, makes our spells uncounterable, and gives everything haste. That works really well with Kraul Harpooner because it gets the bonus when it enters the battlefield of Undergrowth, so it could surprise attack. 2 Domri gives our creatures Riot and can help us dig. It's pretty good against control because the emblem is threatening. Another Vivien just as more card advantage, and then 1 Carnage Tyrant is just a trampler that can't be countered. So we'll play this in competitive best of 3 and take it from there. So this is the other variation I have. So I'll load it to the channel as well, just the deck list if you want to see both. But we can get started. Now, if you haven't done so already, if you're looking for a way to support the channel, if you enjoy the content, subscribing, the little button in the bottom right-hand corner, it costs you nothing, and it goes a long way to help supporting the channel, helping to grow things. And we're closing in on 100 subs. Once we do, we'll be doing another giveaway. At 50 subs, we gave away 2 promo light up the stage, so we're going to look to do the same. So this hand we'll keep. We got early removal if need be, and then we can go into the Growth Chamber Guardians. We can't adapt it right now because our only green source is coming from the Unclaimed Territory, but against any sort of early creature decks, we'll be okay. So this could be control most likely. It's a slower start by the opponent. Let's just go to the face. So here I just want to get out a threat early. Their mana is a little awkward. Okay, so the Rootbound Crag's good. This means we can adapt it. Okay. So not the best there. Basically fogs us for the turn. Here they'll probably take the Gruul Spellbreaker. So this is Esper control. So I'll play out the Growth Chamber, pass the turn. Against Esper, you usually don't like putting these out unless you can adapt, just so you get some value. So we'll let them have their pick. They'll get rid of the Hellkite most likely. It's the most threatening. Oh, interesting. So they bin the Moment of Craving, so that might signify that they have a Mortify. Also, by not taking the Hellkite, that suggests to me that they would have like a Kaya's Wrath. So land off the top would be really good. I'm going to hold this just in case we need to hit a Teferi. So Esper is actually the hardest matchup I find with this deck. They just have a lot of removal and we're not fast enough. We tend to be bigger than a lot of the aggro decks, but they have clean answers to our beefy creatures. So here, I don't want to play out the Hellkite into a sweeper. If they play something like a Teferi, we can threaten it. But I wanted to force them to answer this. So they did bin an Escanta. Okay, so opponent missed a land drop there. So here they're effectively at 9. I'm not going to play the land right now. So they'll take our Hellkite here, so we do get punished for not playing it. Opponent bins the land. So we'll play this land out. Flooding a bit isn't the best. Something like a Vivien would be good. Alright, so they have the Mortify. That's been 1, 2, 2 Mortifies, cast down, and they've passed a Moment of Craving. Okay, so Phoenix is good. Pass turn. So here they need a Vraska's Content. If they play a Teferi and down tick, we can just shock the Teferi. So here I actually like hasting this out forces him to do something. And on the off chance this build's playing settle, it turns that off. So we almost got him down to burn range. They need 2 spells, a sweeper. Karn's not going to do anything.
I will defend my allies.
So even though we've had a slower hand, the opponent's doing typical Esper things. Getting rid of the Kaya's Wrath is good there, and opponent concedes. So in this matchup, like bringing in the Cindervines, bringing in the Domries, the Rhythms, the other Vivien, the Dire Fleet. So this can win the game on its own. I like the Kraul Harpooner because they'll probably bring in, what's its face? The Spectre. Probably get rid of the Chainwhirler. It's not that impactful. Got rid of 5 cards. Also, I'm not crazy about the dragon. It usually just dies. 3 cards. So here we can get rid of a Mortify. We're really just stealing a Vraska's Contempt. So 2. Probably get rid of 2 collisions. Probably content with that. So this makes Domri a little worse by going down the Chainwhirlers. Opting to go for more burn. I can probably... or keep this in, go down the Lightning Strike, and keep in the Chainwhirlers. I think we go like that. Just gives us more to hit off Domri and then the Rhythm of the Wild. So here the opponent will probably bring in more sweepers. His hand's very slow. We do have our lands. I think we try. As long as we just draw action, we should be fine. And Phoenix is really good in this matchup. Okay, so Domri's good. They have the Thought Erasure, so they'll probably take the Phoenix. I imagine that would be the most difficult thing for them to deal with. Just hoping they'd take Domri. So Carnage Tyrant's pretty good. As long as we don't get our hand picked apart, we should be okay. Here they'll likely Mortify. Chainwhirler's a good draw there, gives us something to play on 3. Okay, so they Moment of Craving. Play out the Chainwhirler. Just kind of hoping they didn't have the removal spell, because then that would force them more to be inclined. Okay, so they Shock here, so this could signify Vraska's Contempt or just Chemister's Insight. So we'll attack. So here I'm okay throwing out the Domri. If they counter it, they can Chemister's Insight and they shock themselves for nothing. Okay. So that keeps them off the card advantage plan. If we got Domri down, we could have actually hasted out a Carnage Tyrant on turn 5, which would have been good. So they Insight now, they're digging for lands. And this gives us an opening to play out Warboss. So we do have an opportunity to Colossus to get in more damage, but I think we just force the opponent to have the sweeper here. I'm not going to play the Carnage Tyrant out. Okay, well, now that they wiped the board, we will. If we hit the land. But if we didn't, then we would have just kept pressuring. So that's a good draw. They need to have a second sweeper now. If not, opponent's on a 2-turn clock. So I'm not going to play out the Harpooner here. It gives us a threat the following turn. They're going to Insight here, trying to dig for a sweeper. And then them pitching a Mortify is good because it makes our next threat ensure that it lives. And then next turn we can Colossus on the Carnage Tyrant if they don't have a sweeper. And then the Hexproof basically means they need to settle the wreckage or they die. Or they have the Absorb. So buys the opponent 1 turn. And opponent concedes. So taking down Esper, which was really sweet. That deck's usually one of the more troublesome ones. Closing in on the diamond tier. Playing Esper never gets you part of your dailies, unfortunately. So we'll give it one more. And there's quite a few variations to this Esper deck. Some people are playing more aggressive builds, some are more mid-range, some are playing upwards of 3 of the Skarrgan Hellkites. So it'd be really interesting in the comments below what's been working for you, what hasn't. A little land heavy, but we'll give it a shot. Opponent goes first, we're on the draw. That was a good draw, so we'll just play the Stomping Ground. Looking like Esper again. They always have Thought Erasure on 2. So it's going to be one of these that they take, probably the Spellbreaker. This can get hit by Moment of Craving. So play out the mountain, just play out Kraul. So here I'm just going to attack first. See what opponent does, if they want to kill this. If they kill this, it signifies they don't have a board wipe. But we'll just play out a Chainwhirler. Okay, so the kill there lets me know the coast is clear at least. The Hellkite's another good draw. Here we'll just name Warriors. Hate how it makes you tap with this deck. Why wouldn't you use the mana there? So Arena likes to be difficult, so they're gonna kill it. So they're burning their spells there. That means we have a better chance with the Skarrgan Hellkite next turn to just smash in. Next turn we hit him for 7. They have Teferi here. So we can kill Teferi next turn. It's important to get it off the field. Give us haste. This does open us up a little to Kaya's Wrath, but getting Teferi off the table is important. Wrath me. If they don't Wrath, we're in a really good spot. Play out the Stomping Ground and then pass the turn. Opponent must be flooding out. Okay, so they draw the Wrath here. Okay, so they have the Absorb. Probably should have let on the Chainwhirler. I'll hold off on the land. Make it seem like we still have some action. Growth Chamber Guardian's really good. So we're attacking first, forces him into a removal spell. So we're gonna adapt on their upkeep to force them to use the mana there. If they want to prevent this, they have to use the mana. It's fine. So Hellkite off the top would be lethal. Not bad. Gives us another option there. So we'll see what the opponent plays here. So here we need to decide. I'm just going to Lightning Strike him to the face. So Spellbreaker, Lightning Strike, or Hellkite is all lethal next turn. Granted, they don't have a removal spell. So, surprisingly, our hardest matchup. We're 3-0 so far against it. So we'll play the same in from last time. Cindervines, Rhythms, Domries. Oh no, keep these, go down the strikes. And go down 2 collisions. What else did we cut? The Hellkites were really good in that matchup. But do we? I think we want more early game threats. Let's go down 1 of each. No, let's keep that in. Cut down the Chainwhirler. Or we'll just keep in another Chainwhirler. The Colossus probably won't make that much sense. Alright, let's run it back. Like, I figure the opponent's bringing in more creature-based removal. So if we can have some more non-creature spells. Cindervines does just a lot of incremental damage, and if it points a Mortify at that, it's 1 creature that doesn't get killed. So it's just finding ways to keep our threats alive, and then just not overcommitting to the board. Yeah, I think we keep this. I'm gonna Harpooner on 2. Growth Chamber. Or, depending on what the opponent plays out, I might Growth Chamber on 2. Because then we can just adapt it on 3. Opponent did miss a land, which is good. And opponent concedes. So taking down Esper twice and moving to Platinum Tier 1. So getting closer to Diamond, which is really sweet. Crack some packs. So that's the deck itself. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoy the videos, make sure to subscribe to be entered into future draws and to just help support the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great one.